Ladies and gentlemen, Lab After Dark is starting shortly. Lab After Dark is starting soon. Lab After Dark is starting soon.
Right.
Well, you opened that Pandora's door.
I was actually just sitting down to pee, but whatever, you know.
What's the point in causing any trouble with each other?
What's happening? What's going on? Welcome, Lab After Dark. I'm your host,
Lab
Joshua
After Dark
Diaz.
starts now.
Good to see you. Good to be here. Happy, let's see, Sunday evening. We got the weekend out of the way. They go by really fast, no matter what. I don't know what it is. It's like all the good stuff's supposed to happen on the weekends. And, you know, it goes by so fast. But I think I'm going to start trying to make Monday my favorite day of the week. How's that? Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, it's, you know, I got to try and make an entrance, though, you know. I got a lot of people to compete with these days. There's a lot of people out there with these like 25-minute intros, and I got to pack a punch in like 4 minutes. That's all I got. That's all I got. And yeah, but Monday always has that feel, you know. It'll always have that feel. I don't know why it does. It just does. Dawn, thank you so much for gifting 5 Lab After Dark memberships, and I'm looking at the chat, and there's a thank you for the compliments. You guys are very kind. I do not smell like hot dog water. I'm just going to put that out there off the bat. I saw somebody called me Dolly. That's okay. We'll get to that because I do have some, not specifically to him, but just in general. I feel compelled to point out the hypocrisy that will be ultimately ignored, obviously, but I just feel like I just want to say it anyway. Makes me feel better. Will it change anything? No. It won't change anything. Will people somehow wake up to this whole phenomenon of just absolute hypocrisy? No. I don't think most people know the definition of hypocrisy. That's just me. I don't think anybody, like, I think that the people here know it. I don't think that people in general know it. But I think that this chat does. And every day, it seems like every day that you kind of get debriefed. Muscles and Mascara, 50 Lab After Dark memberships. That's so generous of you. And it's good to see you. And I know baseball season is here. I'm pretty sure you're a Braves fan. It's going to work out. I watched the game tonight. Giants won, by the way. Happy baseball season to everybody. If you do enjoy baseball, I certainly do. It's a great thing. All right. Well, it'll be all right. That'll be all right. It's just they put it in order, those torpedo bats. You guys seen those new torpedo bats? Good Lord. I don't even know what the hell that is. Torpedo bats. MLB's like, yeah, you guys could use those. Like, for what? Why? What the hell's a torpedo bat? I don't know if you guys have seen it. They're completely changing the style of bats now. It's ridiculous. And I think it's legal too. That's the weird thing. I don't know why nobody ever thought of that before. Torpedo bat is a bat now that there's less bat at the end, and they've moved it more towards the label. So they've moved the barrel down so that it's not at the end of the bat. Now, I have no idea. I would imagine it's in the rules. It says that no part of the barrel can be bigger than something inches. I don't know why they say that. It squares it up better. It's a weird looking bat. I can show you. Let me bring it up really quick. People are freaking losing their minds over this thing. I'll tell you. It does look weird too. I gotta tell you, spot is what is how I'm understanding it. Let me see here. They say Aaron Judge isn't using it. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think he would need to. I mean, he sucks in the playoffs anyway, so who cares? But specifically 2 players, I think, are using it. Okay, here's a great photo of it. You see that? What the hell? All right, so if you see right here, they have this is the new torpedo bat. And they've moved the sweet spot down towards the label, and there's less bat up here. Yeah, Jazz and Volpe, yeah. If you know baseball, if you've played baseball, if you played softball, if you played, whatever, that bat would look weird to you. If you know what a normal, regular sized bat. No, it does. It looks like a bat, but it's completely different. It's completely different than any other bat that has ever been used ever. Apparently, the Yankees hired an MIT. I don't know what the frig he is. I guess he's like some astro engineer, some thing like that, and he developed this bat for them. Wasn't like some guy in a shed was like, I don't know. People seem to be really pissed off about it. I have no idea, but they're like, I don't know. But I just heard and Muscles, I just heard that the Braves put in an order for them. Now I have no idea what's going to happen. I have a feeling that this is going to go under like some sort of review, or that those bats probably will be pulled initially because it seems like people are pissed about them. So I don't know. Something's going to, is it better than, I don't know if it's better than the original ones. I have no idea. I mean, this is so new that because the problem was the Yankees are the ones that developed it, and then the Yankees hit like 15 home runs in the first 3 games. I have no idea. It's just, I'm telling you, it's going to be a pain in the ass, and people are going to talk about it forever. And it's going to be like cheating this, cheating that. You're going to hear about it. So I don't know. It's weird looking, I tell you that. They used to have a bat that was shaped like the handle of it was shaped like an axe. They called it an axe bat. But that didn't have anything to do with the barrel. It was just the grip. This is unprecedented. It's just, and if you see here in a lot of baseball bats, wooden baseball bats specifically, they have hollowed out sort of the top here, so the bat is balanced more. But anyway, yeah, that's exactly correct. Muscle says the sweet spot has changed. Throwing your hands to the ball with the torpedo bat versus original bat gives you a better place to hit the ball. I mean, you could, I think so, but I think you can also probably, I don't know, they'll figure it out. It's just funny to me. Nobody knew about this until like 2 days ago. They went the first game, they hit all these home runs. The first 3 pitches that they saw, the first 3 pitches were hit for home runs. And then it comes out that they're using these bats. Now everybody's freaking losing their mind. But who knows? It's just interesting. And it's so much more lighthearted than all the horse shit that goes on every day. That's why sports and baseball and just in general, I mean, it kind of does take your mind off of, I don't know, whatever is going on anywhere else. Well, yeah, it seems like that they're allowed to use them. So it's really not, I don't know. Doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Seth, what's up, dude? How are you? My 12-year-old granddaughter got a new baseball bat, little $600. She pitches for her team and has, the bats, no joke, are so expensive. Wooden bats, you won't buy a wooden bat for that much, but they could run about $200. I don't even know if you can buy a torpedo bat. I'm sure everybody in the world's going to be looking for this torpedo bat now. Come to find out, time will tell. Time will tell, I guess. And it's just interesting. But it is baseball season, and for that I'm grateful. Anyway, I unfortunately still have not seen your show, Seth, from yesterday, but I've heard great things, and I will be watching it later. However, I did catch the content buzzards or vultures or whatever. What is it? What are those things that fly in the sky around? They just wait to pick up whatever's like left over. Where's Peyton? I don't know. He's somewhere. Are they vultures? I was right. Okay. They just, you see them kind of circling and waiting, and it was weird. And then the fact that there were people adding up super chats. There were people slamming you or slamming him. By the way, I don't know if you want to say that. I encourage him to do it. I think he should engage with people about Sebastian. Nobody has to donate to him. He's not asking you to do it. He's allowed. If they're allowed, you're allowed. If they can do it, you can do it. If anybody has any right to do it, it would be you, Seth. It would be your right. That's just how I personally feel. And the hypocrisy has not been lost on me. I personally would be absolutely embarrassed to have that kind of take about you talking on YouTube about your son and monetizing your channel for whatever reason it is that you want to do. I'll tell you this, you did not ask to be in this position. This isn't a get rich quick scheme. And for anybody to insinuate that it is weird. And it's up to people what they want to do. And I can't believe that people. I can actually. That's the thing, is I've been around long enough here to know what kind of shit pig assholes say these stupid, horrible things that yet they're guilty of the same exact thing, except it's worse. It's worse than that, because you do like a live once a month, sometimes twice, maybe. I've never seen pocket watchers like I have on YouTube. Never one time. And make no mistake about it, the reason that they go on these rants, the reason that they sit there and they add that up is because they're pissed that it's not in their pocket. And that's a fact. And they'll tell you that that's not true, but it's absolutely what sets them off. They sit there and they watch it, and people are generous because they feel awful for what's going on. They happen to believe Seth. They happen to have faith in him, whether they agree with it or not. They're pissed off that they're not getting that money. It drives them nuts. It bothers them. and they want it. I mean, that's just, or else they wouldn't talk about it. If they were just going to, have a problem with, okay, so let's just say Seth takes his channel, he turns off all the super chats, he turns off, they would still mock him. They would still say things about him. It would just be something different. He's an attention seeker. He wants to control the narrative. The money thing is where everybody goes to immediately, big time. Every single time, it reverts back to money. Oh, you're monetized. I can't believe this person gave this super chat. I can't believe this person gave that. And it's just like, mind your business. I would have changed it to members only in a heartbeat, because I wouldn't want to listen. At least if you're going to insult the man in his own chat about his missing child, then maybe you should have to pay for that, then get blocked. I would do the same thing. Members chat is a beautiful thing. That's just how I feel about it, especially in those situations. Oh, Kat, I see what you're saying. I get it. Oh, you're saying, oh, yeah, Dolly, I don't know if the thing's still up. And by the way, this isn't directed direct at Dolly. There were a lot of people that went on these rants. I was just kind of shocked, They are legal? Oh, man, really? Well, I mean, look, if he is, I would hope so. I mean, I didn't think, and it wasn't just, I'm talking about the people that were adding up his super chats and then calling him fat and shit like that. It's just like, where does this whole thing come from of calling people like fat asses? And I mean, we didn't leave that behind in grade school, I mean, wow, it's just, I don't get it. But you know what? If that's the kind of thing that people want to participate in, they're not my people. I'm not their people. They're not for me. I'm not for them. And I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I just don't see it that way. And if I did, I would let you know. But it's a really low down dig for content, if you ask me. And I'm surprised at the depravity and the unselfishness, or the selfishness, and lack of understanding. It is. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'd be embarrassed. Personally, I would be embarrassed to have that kind of take in that situation. But guess what? I'm not them. They're not me. I'm not saying I'm better than them. I'm not saying they're worse than me. I'm just saying I just don't understand. I don't understand the angle, because the whole point of them going on live after is to garner an audience that will produce monetary gain for them by talking about somebody who is talking about his missing child, and people are donating to his channel. Where did the left turn come from? I don't get it. Seth, please do more lives. We learned more info on Sebastian. It's a great thing. I think it's a great thing. Chris and Katie should do it too. I'm being serious. I'm being dead serious. If they wanted to do it, they have every right to. Yeah, Queen Bee did it. It was Queen Bee. They were sitting there with a calculator, racking up his. He made this much. He made this. Like, shut. But go fudge off, dude. I mean, how much of a shit kicker? I mean, honestly, these are the same people day in and day out that make a living by talking about that case. Now, I'm not convinced that Queen Bee knows how to use a calculator, but they were giving it a try from what I saw. And it's disappointing, but it's not like they're trying to please me, and I don't want them to. I'm just saying that it's every day when I think that things can't get more hypocritical, they do. And then you have this gaggle of goons and half-wits and, low brow hooligans that cheer them on when they don't understand anything about the hypocrisy. And that's what it is. It is hypocrisy. But that's not even up for debate. Like, there are things that you can say, that's not up for debate. It's not up for debate. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact that the hypocrisy, and you can say, well, this and this and this and this and this and this, and Josh, you're this and that and that. I may be all those things that you think that I am, but one thing that I hate is hypocrites. I hate them. I hate hypocrites with all my heart and soul, because if I'm going to be a hypocrite, I'm going to tell you what I just did was extremely hypocritical. All right? I got no problem with that. But they don't even act like it. They don't think it's hypocrisy, and it is. A hypocrite is somebody that does that accuses somebody of doing the exact same thing that they're doing and then deeming it wrong. Okay? You understand? It's blatant hypocrisy. There's nothing more to it. It's the same thing when everybody else says you're grifting or you're this or you're that. And you go, what? You do the same thing that I do. Now, there are different levels. I mean, by doing by doing clickbait. I see a lot of clickbait. It happens all the time. And I'm going, I guess it's a way to get people into your show. All right, I'm with it. I understand clickbait in a major way. I get it. Okay. But don't act like that's not what you're doing. It's insulting. It's insulting. I used to tell my grandfather, as I got older, and he would be like, hey, because I kind of stopped going to church at one point. The reason I stopped, I remember there was this guy, and his name was Bob. And Bob was a great man. And I remember I was in one of his study session classes before church one day. And he was talking about he was talking about alcohol and how it, he was relating it to biblical terms and whatever he was doing. And I'll tell you that I remember one day I was he was just talking about the dangers of alcohol and things like that. And I was in Safeway one day standing in line, and I saw Bob standing in line it was a 12-pack of Coors Light. And I remember looking over, and then I remember hiding, sort of, in a way, because I didn't want him to see me, because I had seen him. And I remember telling my grandfather about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done going to church, because like I really looked up to him, and I was really disappointed in the whole thing. Because like I said, there's one thing that bothers me is hypocrites. It wasn't that he was drinking the beer. It was that he had talked about the dangers or the pitfalls of beer. Was the beer itself wasn't what bothered me. It was just him telling me that. And I told my grandfather about it, and he said he didn't seem to be bothered by it. I thought that maybe he would be a little bothered by it. I was pretty young. I was probably 20, 18, 19. And I really looked up to the guy. And like I said, the hypocritical part of it was what bothered me. I didn't care that he drank. That wasn't the point. The point was that I felt like he was being a hypocrite. Now, that being said, my grandfather says, "Are you going to church today?" And I said, "I'm not going to go." He says, "Why?" I said, "Because." I said, "Church is full of hypocrites." And he looked at me and he said, "There's always room for one more. Let's go to church." And on the way there, he explained something to me. That people are just human. And that I was a hypocrite as well. And we all are, to some degree, hypocritical. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But I mean, this is like, to me, above and beyond. Above and beyond. There's always room for one more. And he told me, because he knew how I felt about Bob. I felt very kind of him, and I liked him a lot. But hypocrisy was something that I just, I don't know. I thought I was too good for, or that I made a real concerted effort not to be a hypocrite, but I'm sure in many ways that I was. But this is not that. This is so much further than that, to a point where it's sickening, and it's disappointing. And I think that anybody that tries to justify it, in front of a court, I think you could prove your case pretty easily. That being said, that's just how I feel about it. I have no ill feelings towards anybody. But you know, if they can have their opinion, I certainly can too. And I'm not afraid to say it. And I don't want smoke with anybody. But if anybody takes offense to it, well, you know what? I don't give a shit. I really, truly don't. Don't ask for donations and rent a Mercedes to go. I mean, that's nuts. A Mercedes? Why wouldn't you just get like a Jeep or something? Sure, why not? I mean, they're just people. They're just people, you know. That's all it is. Yeah, but the reason they did it is because they knew that there was an audience for it, and they knew that people would, you know, get behind them in that. That's crazy, though. That is just not. Let me see here. All right. In the hood, we call that a crackhead. Just Irish. Good to see you, Just Irish. Hope you're hanging in there. I've followed along a little bit. I don't really have a lot to say about that situation because I don't know much about it, but anybody whose feelings get hurt, I always feel bad for, no matter what. So whatever happens with you in that situation, I hope it gets resolved and you guys can move forward or not. You know, that's always something too. But I enjoy you. I think that you're, even though you didn't enjoy me for a long time, I think it was you that did say that you weren't a fan of mine until I made a certain joke. Was that you? I remember that way. That's all right. I always rock with you though, no matter what. I think that was you, but I hope I'm not. Maybe I'm mistaken. An elephant doesn't forget. Yep. It took that beautiful Mona Lisa of a joke to get you to turn to the right side. I got tools. I can do it. A little bit. I got your email, and I will be emailing you probably in the morning. So you just keep hanging in there and know that you have friends. Not that Queen Bee. I like how you changed that name. Let's see here. Yeah, Chernobyl's child. Yeah. But you know what? Hey, hook, line, and sinker. You know what I mean? I remember one time, and then we'll get into what the crux of the show tonight. We're gonna play some. We're gonna play some of the. You know, we've been going over the shortest DoorDasher in the history of DoorDashing, and you know. The more that I learn about him, the more terrible of a person he is. This isn't like an isolated incident where he had an incident with somebody and it was a bad situation and then the situation was resolved and everybody went on their merry way. That's not what this is. No, Earl and I are not cool. Earl sucks. But we're gonna talk, and I kind of thought maybe it wouldn't be a good idea to play it because, you know, there are kids involved. It sounded like the kids were very much in on this and that they enjoyed getting to sort of speak what they wanted to speak about. And I'm for that too. I got no issue with that. Sometimes people just want a platform. And Kelsey says, practicing true self-awareness. will help you recognize when you're becoming the very thing you claim to stand against. Yeah, but the thing is you have to actually practice it. Earl sucks. Yeah, dingy. Yes, we're gonna talk about that. But first, let's check in with our good buddy, B. Tim.
Andrew the Giant. You are morbidly obese.
This guy understands the slap rules more than anybody. All right. T-Rev has said awful things about many people. He says awful things about his own ex-wife in front of her children. And then the guy, Detective John, who he said awful things about him as well. And he said awful things about me. I mean, anybody that doesn't go along with this bullshit, he thinks that that they're against him, you know? And it's just not true. It's just not true. Let's see. I am so lost. I am late coming in. Good to see you, Josh. It's great to see you too. You'll catch up here in a second. I have no doubt. I want to know when I can order Josh on DoorDash. Now that would be divine. Well, I'll tell you that, like I said, I think the heaviest thing they deliver is dog food. And so I'd probably forklift delivery. It might be drug induced. If T-Rev's going to deliver, I'll never get there. That's a fact. Josh dogs. Now, once again, I did debate on this for quite some time because there were children involved, but the more that I listened, the more I was just like, how is it that, first of all, I have a big problem with what he did to Seth and claiming to be Seth's friend. I have a huge problem with it. I think and it's not even that I like Seth, which I kind of do sometimes. But Tony's a little questionable. I'm just kidding. I love you, sweetheart, Tony. Yeah, I'll never get, like I said, I would never get there. But I just have I have a really big problem with what he did and the way that he treated Seth, and then tried to smear his name like he does to everybody else that he has a run-in with. I think it's just a terrible, terrible thing to treat people that way. And whoever that Michaela girl is for stealing shit that she shouldn't have, playing along with this, I just think that that's a terrible thing to do. And then not just that, but then the fake phone calls, faking cancer, faking the dog having cancer, faking he had cancer twice. So I have no qualms. I mean, this is a pattern of behavior. There's a story that he tells, or that his ex-wife tells, and some of you have probably heard it before. It's as infuriating of a story as I've ever heard. And we're going to get into it now. Now, I was going to what I was going to do is I was going to block out the children. I'm not. Let me see here. That's what these were for. So maybe I will still. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Give me color block. Color block. Okay. Wrong color block. Boom. Boom. All right. Mary says, Josh, love you. Been watching you for years. Can't sleep tonight. So I'm happy to see you live. I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't know what he was doing. He's a moron. He really is a weird fella. Very little, like, usually you would think, like, oh yeah, there's some redeeming qualities. I mean, I've been looking. I don't see many, and stupid highlighted chat. We'll just hide it. Having all kinds of problems here. Son of a bitch. You know what? I'm not going to hide the kids. Sometimes it's necessary. I know what it's like to have a shitty dad. So I support it. And there. And then where is the... All right. So there's the credit at the bottom of the screen. Let me get that out of the way. This over here. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't seem to have any. He really doesn't. Wait a minute. Wait. I mean, I don't think he does. All right. So for those of you catching up, this is we've been door dashing with T-Rev, and apparently he's wanting to make a comeback or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. I have no idea what he wants to do.
Andrew the Giant.
But he's gonna do something. Apparently, Dash and Crime. I think it was his idea. Which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I've heard some really stupid ones. Dashing and Crime. It really is a dumbass idea. All right, here we go.
Well, we're back. I hope everybody's ready for Christmas. We got some special guests tonight. And, when I started this show, there's all sorts of different types of crime. And just because it's not a crime of violence or a crime of, theft or burglary or car break, something like that, doesn't mean that there's not other types of crime. One of the worst types of crime, in my opinion, is a deadbeat dad or a deadbeat mom. Works two ways. Mostly it's the dads.
By the way, and I agree with him. 110%. I don't think you get much more. Like, the way that people treat their children will tell you all you need to know about who a person is. I promise you, it is a foolproof every single time. No question about it. It is you can just tell everything. It's foolproof. Trust me. Trust me. Foolproof every single time.
But deadbeat dad, I can't comprehend it. Can't wrap my head around it. It's just so not me that I can't put myself in anyone else's shoes.
Imagine somebody that will treat their child that like shit, for lack of a better term, hit their child mentally or physically, mentally and physically, or mentally or physically abuse their child. What do you think that they won't do that to you, but worse? You think that it only extends to their children? You think that that's just how they live their life? You think that that's the end of it? No.
Choose that's a deadbeat dad and justify it.
Okay.
We have children and we're supposed to mentor our kids. We're supposed to develop them. We're supposed to love them. We're supposed to nurture them. And like I said, we're supposed to, most importantly, love them. And when kids don't have that.
This is Detective John. He was a detective. And you'll hear a little bit of his problem with T-Rev, because T-Rev slandered him as well, which is what he does when he either gets his feelings hurt. He does this preemptive strike where he wants to tell everybody how bad they are. And it's just indicative of people like him.
And they have a mom that struggles every day to put a roof over their heads, to make sure that she parents well, keeps the kids out of trouble. I know that's hard for a single mom, especially when you have little girls and little boys that are teenagers. You gotta keep balance and structure. You gotta juggle your life around your kids. You gotta pretty much give up your life if you want to raise your kids right. You can't have any, freedom anymore. There comes a time in your life where you should have been done with that. And at the point that you decided to have children, having that fun that you had when you're a kid is not important anymore. But you know what? Some people never grow up.
It sounds like Detective John, and I've never messed with T-Rev. I mean, I just couldn't take. No offense to T-Rev or anybody that listened to him, but like I got one look at the guy, and listened to him talk for like 30 seconds, and was like, it was just pretty self-explanatory. So I'm kind of surprised that Detective John actually called into his show. But you know what? Some people are a little more, I could say, lenient about people. I just never got a vibe from him. Or at least a good one.
And some people run from their responsibilities. And they hurt the people that they're supposed to love. And they have no conscience. So my first show about a little over 3 months ago, I directed toward another creator that I found out was a hypocritical piece of garbage, and he was a very bad parent, turned his back on his children, said some awful things in rap songs about his wife that's still his wife, denounced his own children on a live show, said things like, I'm not going to pay a dime until I find out whether they're my kids.
Can you imagine that though?
Or a DNA test. And then it says, earlier he says, I thought they were my kids for 5 years and their mother told me that they may not be. So
And
you have back kids that aren't going to be yours.
And at that point, does it really matter? Like, they're your
Cop-out.
kids. You know what I mean?
Liar. He's a horrible, horrible, horrible person, in my opinion. And all he's doing is deflecting and running away from his responsibility and hiding, basically, because the old state of New Jersey has already filed one judgment against him for nearly $13,000 years ago. Now it's $51,000.
I agree, Sam.
So back then, 3 months ago, we exposed him for what he was. And he disappeared for like a month and a half. And then he purported to have some kind of a, I don't know if it was mental illness or what. He posted some mental, some drugs that he was taking. Why is this making me feel so crazy or feel sick or whatever he posted? Who does that? Some mental health drugs. You know what he did it? In my opinion, he did it to seek sympathy because he was getting his ass handed to him by me and my team and his wife and his kids who came into the chat and said some pretty remarkable and mature things for young teenage kids. His daughter, Lana, actually wrote a letter when she was 10 years old to him, and I read it. She's written another letter recently, and I didn't know that. She just told me that a few minutes ago, and we're going to allow her to read it tonight. So this is kind of like twofold. I want it to be, or threefold. I want it to be, I want to expose this man for what he really is, because everyone thinks differently, but they didn't know and they didn't hear about this stuff because my show had very few subs and it was my first show, so it didn't really get out there a whole lot. He tried to shut it down by disappearing for a month and a half, out of sight, out of mind, people. So he figured if he disappeared for a while, it would all kind of fizzle out and then he could come back in. And he came back in and he jumped on the coattails of JLR and, rode this escape convict thing. And then he kissed JLR's ass and wound up getting a ton of JLR subs. So he's got like over 50,000 subs now. So he's making a lot of money. Sherry, I don't know if you knew that or not, but 50,000 subs equals a lot more memberships. And on the low end, a membership is $2.99. That's the low end. So let's say he has 800 members, which I'm sure he has well above that. Just me speculating, because I know another creator that's quarter that size that's got 800 members. So let's say on the low end he had 800 at $2.99. That's like $2,400 a month right there, just in memberships that he's getting residual income from. So he's quite capable of paying the $112.
I will check it out. Thank you.
A week that he's supposed to pay. And you know what else? When it's all said and done, and they do catch up with him, I would suggest that you file for a modification. We get a forensic analyst to go through his.
The funny thing is about Detective John, and is he not on YouTube anymore? I know that he was having some health issues. But yeah, I don't know. Hey, take it easy, Britt. Yeah, I don't know where he's at. I don't know if anybody does know, but he left. He was just done with it.
his financials, and we get that modified to even more money for you and the kids, because he's making a hell of a lot more than $112 guideline child support, in my opinion. And in the state of New Jersey, a lot of people don't know this, but when you're on disability, and you'll hear him talk about, yeah, I'm on disability and I owe child support. And then he goes on the attack of his wife and denounces his kids.
Have a good night. Thank you for listening.
But instead in New Jersey, when you're on disability, they can come after your disability and they'll garnish your disability wages. So I'm going to post the information. It's actually in the narrative. If you read my narrative for the show, I posted all that information, the case number, the phone number that you need to call. And I want each and every one of you, if you could, get on the horn, give that case number, tell the story that you're going to hear tonight about a man who's denounced his children for over 10 years now, or nearly 10 years, and not given.
Now, why people, and I'm sure there are going to be people, Josh, why is this important to you? I'll tell you why it's important to me. Because first of all, I hate deadbeat fathers. And then the fact that he pretended to give a shit about any missing child is laughable. Absolutely laughable. You know where your kids are. I mean, he's riding around with his kid in the car the other day. I don't know how long he's had quote unquote custody of his child. And that's really just, his son died. Good Lord. And that's not my business. But, I just think he's like I just think he's a really bad person, personally.
His wife, this is still his wife, and his kids, a dime. Doesn't call them, doesn't send them cards, doesn't do anything. Yet he's Mr. King shit on YouTube. Last I heard, he was trying to get on, Netflix or something.
What?
It's comical. It's disgusting.
Netflix.
And I would expect.
What the hell is he going to do on Netflix? Are they rebooting the Leprechaun series? I think the last one was Leprechaun in the Hood. I could see T-Rev doing Leprechaun in the Hood. He actually might be pretty good at that. I swear. I'm not even trying to make a joke there. I think that he would probably be extremely do well at doing the Leprechaun in the Hood remake. So, man, I mean, maybe the franchise will take off and he could, I mean, honestly, maybe he was onto something.
Anyone that is in this show tonight that has a subscription to T-Rev, if you feel the way that I feel and the way that my mods feel and anybody else, I'm not telling you have to do it. If you have any moral compass and you hear what you're going to hear tonight, you should never be a sub to that show. You should never have a membership to that show. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. So what he did yesterday is he's sending a little subliminal out there. Oh, I got the pneumonia. Well, he knew this was coming because I did announcements in my community, on my community page.
I've got the pneumonia.
He knew it was coming because I made a promise to Sherry and the kids. I made a promise that we're going to do something for them for Christmas.
He's got the pneumonia.
To help offset the cost of Christmas. And if you look at the bottom of this screen, you'll see 3 different apps.
Once again, imagine your family being willing to do this because they have no other way to communicate with you, Remember, this is a guy that pretends to care about missing kids, voiced for the voiceless, whatever it is, you know, spirit box bullshit. But imagine your wife, I don't even know if they're divorced yet or not. God, I hope so. But your wife would agree to do something like this because, wow. And you know what? Good for her.
I have nothing to do with this. This is not going to me. This is going directly to Sherry and the kids. And if anyone has, I'm gonna give. Some of my mods are gonna give. I hope all of them give. We're gonna give Sherry and the kids some extra money for Christmas to help her offset giving them a great Christmas. I basically told her, go buy what you want for the kids, and we're gonna get you some money to offset that and make it easier for you, because God knows T-Rev, Austin Sweet is his name. He's not going to give a dime because he doesn't give a damn. He only cares about himself, in my opinion.
I don't know how much money he was making, but I heard it was a substantial amount. I know that he was bragging about making money to Seth.
He doesn't want to be his
and
wife, by the way.
Now, you know, has all these bad things to say about him, like many other people on
YouTube.
YouTube.
To get a divorce for years, and his 2 teenage children. Lana's 13.
Cost me $450 to file for divorce.
I think he's almost 15 now.
I'm 14. I'm gonna be 15.
Yeah, you're gonna be 15.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, and then we're gonna go back to my first show, and we're gonna play, and you're gonna hear with your own ears T-Rev saying absolutely horrible things. And then the other day he says, yeah, I've done some pretty screwed up stuff in my life. Yeah. You know why he's saying that? He's throwing smoke grenades out there, everyone. He's backpedaling because he knows
it is expensive. It was like $450, and that was a long time ago. I mean, it really just depends. I mean, why do you think there are people that stream for 7 hours a day? It really just depends, you know.
Knows this is coming, so he wants to send the subliminal out there that, you know, everyone makes mistakes, and you know, I'm a better person now. Bullcrap. You're the same person you've always been.
I have a sneaking suspicion that this isn't really something that Detective John does.
You're not a better person.
He's pissed.
You're just a better manipulator. That's all you are, T-Rev. You're just a better manipulator. Because that's what you do. That's how you've got away with this for so long. And you have $51,000 in back child support that you could be paying.
Oh, shit. $51,000. 51,000.
This man told me, I can't remember if it was February or March, but he told me, I was on the phone with him. He's gloating and bragging that he made $18,000. Not 1,800. That's 18,000.00.
Wow.
$18,000 he made off of his show in 1 month. Yet he has
holy shit.
2 teenage children that their mother works double shifts to be able to put a roof over their head and provide for them, and has struggled. And
well, here's the thing, Brandy and Indy. No, you're not, because you have to be a certain way to make that kind of money on YouTube, on like true crime you have to act a certain way, and it's not a favorable way. You know, it's just not worth it. You know, I mean, you have to be manipulative. You have to be willing to clickbait. You have to be willing to stream for 10 hours a day. And then when you're not the person that you say you are, you have to pretend to be somebody you're not.
She's doing great now. That's why I said this is also a success story, because despite
all those people that are out there that do these streams every day that get 1,300 in the chat, 14, 15, sometimes 2,000. I mean, I could do that every day too, just by picking the topic or picking fights with people on a bigger channel. And I choose not to do that. I could do it every day. I choose not to. I don't want to. I don't want to make money that way. I'd rather just talk shit.
Despite this disgusting, deadbeat piece of garbage, she's made it. She has made it. They live in a nice house. The kids want for nothing. I'm sure they want, but she does the best she can. And I'm very honored to know her. And I tell you, the things that T-Rev has said about her, being a drug addict, she's told me, I've never done drugs in my life. That's what she said. He actually accuses her of being a drug addict, and that's why he's not going to give her any money, because she's a prostitute and she's a drug addict.
Whoa. He called his wife a prostitute? Wow.
Does this lady look like a prostitute and a drug addict? I said to her tonight, I said, you're way too classy and elegant for T-Rev.
Yeah, I mean, I think Coyote would be too. Like if T-Rev married a Coyote, I would be like, dude, you're way out of T-Rev's league.
This is a very, very nice lady. She's very articulate. The kids are articulate. They're a bit shy, but they're warming up.
Yeah. Coyote.
They're beautiful kids.
They're hysterical over here laughing at the comments. I have no idea.
All right. I told you, we have such a dynamic group here. You will be bombarded with kindness. And everybody, please, for Christmas, I don't care if you throw them $2 or $3, whatever. It all adds up. Let's give this family what they've been denied. And she's done the best she can as a single mom. But you know what? Let's try and make up for the loss of having that additional income, at least for this Christmas. Let's show them what it could have been like. Had they had a father who worked his butt off, and a mother who worked her butt off too, and you could see the benefits of a dual income and how great it could be. Let's show them. And let's show them how nice we can be. Let's open up our hearts.
Once again, I mean, it's baffling that you could treat your family so bad that they would be willing to do this. And I don't blame them. And by the way, at first I was like, well, the kid thing, the kids are in on this, man. They want to be a part of that.
And let's
it's
right
the hardest
or
job
wrong
in the world
today. So Sherry, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then the kids come in. You don't have to say your name, your age, but I know how old you are. But the kids can say their age and what grades they're in. And then we'll, like I said, we'll go into replaying some of the things he said, and then I'm going to let you comment on everything that he said. Because I know in the first show you did in chat, and the kids came in chat, but everyone was too shy. Actually,
I don't know.
Technologically, we couldn't get you on and stream it, but we can now. We got it down. So go ahead and introduce yourself and introduce the kids.
Hey everybody, I am Sherry. I am the mother to Austin and Alana. Unfortunately, Mr. Austin, also known as Trev, is my husband. My kids are cracking up laughing. I have no idea why. They think this is hilarious.
I'm sorry.
That's because you're on the spot right now. That's why.
Yeah, probably.
You can see, you can, I don't know, Detective John, but I feel a sort of authenticity of kind eyes. I don't know. I feel like like I said, I don't know him, but I just get that from him.
Probably.
Mom's getting embarrassed.
It's not them talking yet, so when it's their turn, they're probably gonna be the same way.
Right. So tell us a little bit about how you met Trev and
Justice Jane, and that's really one of my biggest issues about this is that he pretends to care about missing children. That's my it's a big problem for me. Denying your own children, and then cashing in the way that he has, and obviously he's very bitter and very salty about this. Him losing his cash cow.
And I want you to do that before we play what
it's bothersome. It
things
really is.
I know you wanted to talk about that a little bit, but introduce the kids first, and then I'll let you go into that because I know they can't wait.
Dinosaur.
She thinks he's a dinosaur.
T-Rex.
T-Rev is that a dinosaur?
It's a T-Rex.
Oh,
That's a T-Rex. That's funny.
I like that.
This is Alana. This is me and Trev's 13-year-old daughter. And then this is Austin. He is our 14-year-old son. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
And what grades are you guys in?
I'm in 8th grade.
I'm in 9th grade.
Okay. So yeah, they're I've had about an hour of time with them and they've been cracking up the whole time. So
hold on one second.
So a little shy at first, and then bam, floodgates open, and they're just like they are right now. So
bam,
I'm sure just like my kids, just a bundle of joy. And my daughter keeps me in stitches, so does my son, but my daughter's just off the charts.
Right.
So, but go ahead, Sherry, and tell us a little bit about your story.
Okay, so I met Austin. At that time, he was going by Trev then too. I met him back in 2008, I believe. He was friends with my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how him and I met. He was living at my mother's house. He came up from Virginia from his dad's. I guess that's where he was. I really don't know. But him and my brother were hanging out, and
That's
I was
great.
hanging out with them and everything like that. And granted, I am a little bit older than he is.
They're giggly kids. It's awesome. I mean, that's a good thing.
Right.
But my brother thought that him and I had something going on, which we didn't. We didn't at all. We would just stay up late and talk and everything like that. And then from my brother believing that we had something going on, he told him he had to leave. And then I felt bad for him because he had nowhere to go. He was up in New York and he knew absolutely nobody. So I put him up in a motel room for a little while.
Of course they do.
Which I paid for. And until his father sent him money up so he can get back to Virginia. But during that time, of course, him and I were together, and we found out that we were pregnant. And, he called his dad and told his dad, that we were having a baby. And the first words out of his father's mouth, which I won't even get into him. But
oh yeah, we got dialogue from him. It was pretty nasty.
But in the beginning from him, it was, "Oh, are you sure it's yours?" Like, yeah, like,
cool.
Yeah, of course. And anyways,
Sure
he
it's
ended
yours?
up. It was maybe a couple weeks that we were together at that point when I found out I was pregnant, and he ended up leaving and going back to Virginia. I went through basically the whole pregnancy by myself. And I was living in New York, as I said, and I moved out. My whole family moved out to Jersey, and where I was staying, I couldn't afford it anymore. So I ended up moving to Jersey. I was, I believe, 8 months pregnant with my son.
Yeah. So sweet soul. I thought that kind of as well. And the more that I listened, I understand why the kids are in on this. And I think maybe you will too.
When I moved out there, here now, to Jersey.
Now, could you have afforded it if you had additional income in the house, if he was there to help you?
In New York, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But like I said, most of the pregnancy I was by myself anyway. He ended up coming back from Virginia to New Jersey back in.
Of course, they've lived through this shit. They've seen their mother struggle with it. I mean, it's not that they haven't had interaction with their father. I mean, what are you gonna do?
February of 2009. I'm sorry, 2009. He came back up because our son was born the following month, which he was there for. He was there for the birth of his son.
It's devastating.
It was his namesake, correct?
Of course, yes.
But I will tell you this: when you watch your mother struggle and be treated like shit and all these different things and make all this money while they're struggling, they have no money. He's not helped, but that's not it. There's more to it than this. But I get it. It's heartbreaking, yes. But at some point, kids want to know, when you go in front of the court, and trust me, I've had to do this. It sucks. But there's a certain age where they allow you to address, or that you have to address the judge by yourself. It's traumatizing. It's terrifying. It's horrible. But it's life, and you have to do it. And I had to do it many times. You know how intimidating that is to have to say, I didn't want to do it. Nobody wanted me. They weren't saying, yeah, this is no, it's just life. And it sucked, but it's part of life. So I get it.
And, we were together, since he came back from Virginia, and holding a job, forget about it. It was on and off, quit, go find another one, quit, go find another one. And, like I said, at this point, we were living with my family. Because there's no way I could have afforded anything by myself. But we both signed up at that point, which I'm not embarrassed to talk about it, for Section 8 to get help with housing.
Which he throws in your face. You're going to hear him throw it in your face.
Oh, of course he is. Because why? Because he's just making all this money now, and he's, It's really it's
So she signed up for Section 8, which is assisted housing, which is I think a wonderful program for people who need it, especially mothers that don't get any help. It's a good thing. And I don't know why he would throw that in their face. That's where his children live.
it's just horrible, horrible what
Yeah.
he
Like
Eric.
he's above you or he's better than you. And you know, in the show the other night, you know, somebody sent me the clip where he actually talks about somebody said I made all this money. Ha ha ha. I don't make that much money. Wasn't talking about me. Somebody else said that somebody accused him of making $30-something thousand,
Right.
according to him.
Wow.
Somebody that probably actually knows the truth, probably a mod. But anyway,
Right.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah, we were together. We ended up, like I said, applying for Section 8 for housing, and we ended up getting our apartment through housing, through Section 8. And we moved into our place together. And every couple has their arguments, has their fights, but no, wait, I have to go. Hold on. I have to go backwards first before I have to go backwards.
Go ahead.
We ended up,
Yes, we did.
I'm just trying to think with the dates. It was so long ago.
Why would you want to? Why would you want to? I mean, who would want? I feel so bad for his son.
Like my brain shot from all this.
Yeah, I get it. I can't remember what happened yesterday half the time. So,
But at the same time, I sort of understand because at some point the court will take your, I guess, however you feel about it, they'll take it into consideration. And if he said, "Yeah, I want to be with my dad," at 16, they probably might grant that. It's not like he's a little boy, but at the same time, it's kids, boys want to be with their fathers. It's just biological. It's primitive, and even with all the stuff that I went through with mine, there was still a part of me that would go, I wonder what he would think about me, or I wonder what he would say, if he if he knew how good at something that I had become, which was like, and then I was go, why do you care? Why would you care about that? Now at this point in my life, 39 years old, I really couldn't care.
Yeah.
but I can remember what happened when I was 4. That makes any sense. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to think if we were, no, it had to be after. All right. I came into a large sum of money due to a car accident that I was in when I was 13. And I was collecting an annuity each month because my lawyer didn't want me to have the, full amount.
Right.
So I was receiving money monthly, and
no wonder he came back.
He didn't want to be in New Jersey anymore. So we talked about it, and we ended up moving down to Virginia, and getting a house down there. The whole thing with that was we were going to get a place with his mom and his stepdad, and
Gotcha.
the rent was going to be split 4 ways. Well, obviously that didn't happen. We went down there, and I actually had Alana in Virginia. She was born in Chesapeake, and
who's named after his mother, correct?
Not spelt the same way, but pronounced, well, sort of pronounced the same way, because his mom's name is Anna and her name is Alana.
Gotcha. But
So,
that was the goal, kind of, to name her after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we ended up getting a house down there, and he, right away he didn't start working, but he did get a job working on I think it was a military base, like land, cutting lawns, and I don't know.
That's not a bad job.
But it ended up going to where the rent was now stuck on me. And there was no way that I could have done it. So I took out a lump sum from my annuity,
Ooh.
which cost me a lot because I took it out through JG Wentworth.
Penalties. Yeah.
And, you know, you take your portion, they get more. You know, so I lost all of that money due to taking out the lump sums. Because now we had to move back to Jersey. And then that's when we applied for the Section 8 because we're living with my mom and my dad. And then we got our own place in I want to say 2011, I want to say. What? And of course, you know, we were like
who
like
really
his
a
dad
reverend?
said in the comment, like in the beginning, we really didn't have anything because we were moving from my mom's place to our own
T-Rev?
place.
No, I don't
And
think
his
so.
dad did help a little, you know, with
Are-
his girlfriend at the time. I don't
Are you
know
talking
if
about
it's
my title?
or
I
what,
just did
but
it that way just to
he
be
did help us
a
out.
dork.
You know, with the kids and everything like that. I'm not going to deny that. But he doesn't know what went on between his son and me and everything that he caused while we were living together, you know?
Right. And that goes to what he was saying. And you actually, when you guys had the dialogue going on in chat, this is T-Rev's dad they're talking about. He was actually saying, yeah, I sent you some money for some betting and stuff like that. And you didn't deny that. You said, yeah, you did. And then he actually said, I can't control my son. I've tried numerous times to tell him to do the right thing, but I can't control him. If you remember right, he said something to that effect. He basically acknowledged what a POS his son was.
That's nice. That's always good. It's always good when your dad says stuff like that about you.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going.
But yeah, so we were together up until, I mean, we had incidents happen at the house, you know, with the kids. Alana, I mean, she really doesn't remember, but she knows about what happened. You want to say, or
wasn't it with when I was out when you told him to watch me?
Yeah.
Now listen to this. I heard this earlier. I listened to a little. Listen to this.
Yes.
And then I was only a little baby.
You were,
but I could walk and stuff. And then he let me go outside when it was raining. And then like I was playing with like this cord and I was sticking it into an outlet that was soaking wet. And then like I almost got electrocuted and stuff.
All right, but that wasn't the whole story.
But you tell the whole story.
Okay, I said about you going outside. All right, I had to drop my daughter off at school, and he was sleeping, and I woke him up, and I asked him, you know, keep an eye on the kids because I got to go run her to school. Because I have, besides these two, I have two older daughters. I have Gianna, who is 17, and my other daughter, Destiny, is 24.
She's got that Jersey accent for sure.
Wow.
So I had two children before me and Trev got together.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. But I asked him to keep an eye on the kids. The school, I would have been gone 15 minutes, and that's really how long I was gone. And I came back, and when I opened up the door, there was water everywhere, like a lot of water. It was coming down through the ceiling. It was coming down the staircase, and I freaked out. I ran right upstairs, and my daughter Alana she wasn't even two. She wasn't even two at the time. She had a fork. Well, what happened was she turned on the bathtub and she put the stopper down. My kids are very intelligent, very intelligent.
She wanted to take a bath.
Yeah, well, the bath, it wouldn't have been a good bath if she got to what she was doing.
Right.
All the water was coming from because it was overflowing.
Oh, I didn't even know that it was happening. I thought it was.
And when I came around the corner of the staircase, she was sitting in the water because there was about maybe 2 inches of water on the ground with a fork in her hand trying to stick it into a socket.
Jesus.
Not good.
And where was her dad? Passed
Sleeping.
out. Yep. Why? Gaming and music all night.
Wait, so she's coup and he's asleep? Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's what he was
Just
doing.
What if
chasing that dream instead of accepting his responsibilities, because that's what a lot of musicians do. They just
Well, with all due respect, Detective John, he's not really a musician. This was 2023, around Christmas.
they think they're going to make it big, so they forget about everything else and they'll
Right.
chase it. My uncle did that. My uncle chased his dream and he's still chasing it, and he's 70 thinking he's going to make it, and he has gone through job after
She's
job after job after job and never became anything. And that's what this man does, in my opinion. But keep going. I'm sorry.
So yeah, we had a few falling outs with a few things. I mean, it wasn't always bad, but
Mhm.
like I said, we were there up until we basically split apart July of 2012 when my mom passed away.
Tell us about that a little bit.
That's true too.
I don't mean to upset you, but you brought it up before.
Fine, I still feel her around me. I know she's still here somewhere.
Right. Tell us.
So this story is, I mean, I'm not gonna say trigger warning, but I mean you could very well end up getting pissed off about this, because I know that I did. I got pissed off.
Tell us how insensitive he was about that.
Oh, it's worse than that, Detective John. It's not insensitive. It's sickening.
Listen to this, people. This is T-Rev to a T. Don't believe that fake persona that he shows you, because that's not him. Because I had a stroke and he didn't tell anybody. My dog was hit by a car and he was just worried about whether I was coming on the show. Never told anybody, because he only cares about T-Rev. Did you hear what I said? When I had a stroke, I was on that show all the time. He never told anybody until afterwards when I came back. He barely even spoke about it. People are still talking about that. And when my dog got run over, I'm like, man, my dog just got hit. I can't come on. He says, well, oh man, I really needed you. Well, my dog just got her head smashed into the asphalt. Didn't even say, I'm sorry. Oh man, I'm sorry about that. Nothing. All he cared about whether I was going to be on the show or not, to get him clicks.
Wow.
But anyway, go ahead. I know what you mean. I know how he is. Go ahead, Sherry.
All right. My mom ended up sick with cancer. And it had metastasized.
It's bad.
And there was basically no saving her. They said either the cancer was going to take her or her heart was going to give out. She didn't want to stay in the hospital. She wanted to come home. Mind you, my parents were living now in a different place. They had an apartment like next to my apartment. It was walking distance, but like they were in a building. I was in a townhouse. I was, with my mom as much as possible. And towards the end, she couldn't speak. Like the past couple of weeks, she couldn't speak. And she wrote down on a piece of paper while trying to write, "Please stay with me tonight." And, all I wanted was that night. Because to me, I feel when a person knows they're going to go, like I believe that they know it's going to happen and when it's going to happen.
Yep. My grandmother knew.
Right.
Yep.
My grandpa knew.
And I turned around and I asked him, I said, can you watch the kids tonight? My mom wants me to stay with her. He says to me, you had your time out with your friends, you were with going out. He goes, now it's my turn to hang out with my friends. And basically, I had to go back home with my kids. I didn't want to bring my kids up to see her in that condition, because my mom used to be like 125 pounds. She was down to bones. She was down to like 85 pounds. And
so you didn't get to see your mom on the night that she passed, and
Well,
she begged you basically to come see her.
She didn't pass that night. She wanted me to stay with her that night. That's why I believe
I mean, it's your sick. It's her sick mother. I mean, what do you say about something like that? How do you rationalize that in your head? I mean, there's people being jerks, and then that's just evil. I don't know another word for it. It's evil. Even if she didn't pass that night.
Something was going to happen, because the following morning, I went back home with my kids.
That's terrible. I'm sorry.
Well, I had the kids because they were there. You know, of course, me and him got into an argument, and that's what he said to me, you know, because I was, you know, here and there, I'd go out with my friends and I'd hang out on a weekend, you know.
Right.
We'd go play pool. I'd go out for a beer or two. That's it. I mean,
okay. So what? She went out, she had a beer with a friend or played some pool, but T-Rev was like, no, you went out last night. You can't go stay with your mom. It's my turn to go out.
I'm not a drunk. I don't go out to get wasted. I haven't gone out in years, you know, and it's just to get out and get away for a little while, because
absolutely,
you know, us moms do need a break.
No question.
You know, being home,
yeah,
being home with the kids all the time. And my oldest daughter, who's 24, I raised her by herself, you know, by myself, and you know, it's a struggle. It really is.
I had a cousin that used to tell me all the time, no, I'd be like, oh, let's go do something. And he's like, no, I got to babysit. And I go, it's not babysitting if it's your kid. But I mean, I think he was joking. I mean, he was kind of dumb. So maybe, but he was a good dad, but he referred to it as babysitting. I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's, nah, you're watching your kids is what you're doing.
Is with, you know, raising kids on your own.
Well, and we know a lot of women out there do it. I mean, you know, it blows me away.
There was I'll tell you a short story here really quick, just to break up the monotony of that horrible story. It was the Patriots versus the Falcons when the Patriots had that huge comeback in the second half in the Super Bowl. I don't remember I can't remember what it was. But I remember I was going to go to the Super Bowl party, and I asked my kids if they wanted to go, and they didn't really care about the Super Bowl. And so they didn't go. And it was like this big thing, you know, that we always had this Super Bowl party, and where like I made food and was bringing food and something we'd been setting up for a really long time. And then something I had been looking forward to doing. And I go to so I'm at the party and the first half's going on and blah, 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 blah. You know, we're having a great time. And I remember before I left, Nellie was sitting on the couch and I looked at him and I said, you know, he's like 12 or something. And I said, your eyes look kind of glossy. You feel all right? He's like, yeah. All right. I said, you sure? Yeah, I feel fine. But I was like, it's something, I don't know. Anyway, I go to the Super Bowl party, you know, having a blast, and I get a phone call from Nellie, and he's like, Dad, I'm not. I just took my temperature. I'm not feeling good. I have a fever. Can you come home? And obviously, like, I went home. And when I got there, he said, thank you for coming back to be with me. I feel better knowing that you're here. And that was actually a really special moment. I remember it was the only time he ever said anything quite like that. And it was a special moment. And I'll never forget that. And it was as disappointing as it was to leave the party. It was really nice to be able to comfort, to have that kind of influence to comfort, him. And it's just something I'll always remember.
How strong, my mother was a strong woman and my grandmother was a strong woman. They were both single moms.
And to be honest with you, I didn't do anything that was like over, like, Father of the Year type stuff. I didn't. I just did what every parent would probably do. Most parents would do. But the fact that he shared what it meant for him was awesome. And it warmed my heart.
It just blows me away to see how women that don't have any help will set aside their entire lives.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Just dedicate it to raising the kids. And, women are more mature than men. Sorry, it's just the truth.
You've heard me say that a million times on here. The women are more mature. They're more fierce. They're better protectors. They don't cry like a little baby when they're sick. Men do
a lot of times. So they give up everything to do the right thing. And T-Rev, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, he's just never grew up. And he doesn't have a conscience. But I think he does have a conscience, because I think this is eating him alive. I think that a lot of his problems, and this is just my opinion, but I think a lot of his problems with anxiety and the things that he's having are the guilt that he harbors over what he's done to you and the kids. And it might not just be the guilt, but it's that impending.
John, the funny thing you say that is because I remember, like when you think about like the people that you love, like your best friends and your brother, your sister, your parents, your grandparents. And if somebody were to ask you, would you trade your life for theirs, like a sister or brother? A lot of people would probably, because it's the right thing to say, they would probably say yes. And somewhere in your mind, you're going to question that. You may do it, but you're going to question it. And, but when you have a kid, if you think about that question, if you would you trade your life for your child? Most loving parents would say yes. Most, I say most. And you wouldn't question it ever. It's not something, you wouldn't second guess it. You may be scared, but you wouldn't second guess that. You would do it in a heartbeat. Now, you may do it for your brother. You may do it for your sister. You may do it for, you may. But it would not be, and if you're being 100% honest, it would not be just this automatic yes. But when if it's your child, and I remember thinking that for the first time ever, unequivocally, I would lay my life down for my child without hesitation. And that goes for it today. I feel the same about that today as I did on the day that they were born. And I've never, ever questioned that. I have always, whenever something bad happened to my children, I always wished that it were me, that I was the one that would take that burden, that responsibility. I wanted to take, there was nothing, I would feel so bad when they would be sick or hurt themselves or have a broken heart or whatever. And that comes with a lot of emotional baggage. But I think that's how most parents are. I think that's how it was designed. And it is a love that surpasses all understanding. It makes no logical sense. People have kids that act terrible, but in their eyes, that's their kid, that's their child, that's their baby, and they love them. And that's just how it is. So for people to deny their children, for people to abuse their children, I was denied, I was abused. A lot of this hits home with me. I was left for trash. I have a big problem with these kinds of people, more so than any other kind. A major problem. And, you know, T-Rev, if you watch this and you get mad and you say, Josh, you're this or that, yeah, you know that one thing I'm not is I'm not a deadbeat dad. I never have been. I never will be. And I'm not looking for applause from it, because you don't get praised for not beating your spouse or not neglecting your children. You don't get praised for being a good parent or a good person. It's just what's expected, and that's it.
Ending doom that he has, that he knows one day someone's going to come knocking on the door with a gun and badge and hook him up.
All right.
That's what's going to happen. Can't run forever.
No,
But anyway, go ahead.
I forgot where I was.
We were talking about your mom and the fact that, you basically didn't get to spend that night with her that you wanted to, because he was selfish and wanted to leave and go party with the boys or do some rap or whatever he does.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
was doing.
I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, she wanted me to stay with her that night. And I told her, I was like, Mom, I can't. I was like, he's not watching the kids. I'm not leaving them home by themselves. I told her I loved her and I'd see her tomorrow. Well, come the following morning at around 10 to 7, I got that bang on my door. It was my brother's ex-wife, crying hysterical. She said, Mom passed. And I didn't even get to say goodbye to her.
And what did T-Rev do?
He didn't do anything. He wrote
Did he even apologize?
No apology, no nothing. Right then and there. I mean, that was the lowest anybody could have done to me. And right then and there, it was a done deal. Like, how do you forgive somebody that wouldn't even watch their own children?
You know what, Callie Dime, I was thinking that too, but as I was watching it, I just don't think that his kid's anything like him. I really, truly don't. And I don't. I'm not assessing the child or anything like that, but I really don't think. I think that boy is solid. There's something about him. He seems like, I don't know. That's what I feel.
So their wife can be with their mother.
But yes, you're right. He's not teaching him the right way. But sometimes it can kind of go one or two ways. It could be like you go along with it, or you go, my dad's a dick. And I have a nephew, a cousin whose child feels that way about him because his dad is a dick.
While she was dying, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be flip the switch off for me.
Yeah.
right now, bye-bye. So I fully understand.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty low. That's pretty insensitive. That's pretty selfish.
The reason that and you know, it was a blessing in disguise to have children at the age that I did. And now my son and his wife are talking about wanting to have a kid, and I'm just like, it makes my it gives me like butterflies in my stomach just thinking about it, because it would be like the coolest thing ever. And I wanted to be the opposite of what my father was to me.
I'm sorry that happened to
A
you,
sim baby.
because those are things you can never take back. Those are things you can never change. Those are things that he can never take back or change.
Right.
You know what? I bet he's never thought about it a day since that
I
happened.
hope so.
No, probably not. Probably not. And you know, even right when we found out she was sick, he made a song. Him, my brother, and some other person was in it. That was all over YouTube. I don't know if it's still there. I really don't go on looking his name up and looking what he still has posted and blah blah blah.
I think I'd want to be called Papa, maybe. Like but I really wouldn't care. Either way would be fine with me.
I don't got time for that. You know,
Right.
I'm working with the kids, you know, same routine every day. I'm up, I go to work, I come home, I go to the food shopping, get dinner, come home, make the kids dinner, make sure they're showered and you know, for school and everything, and then
Seth, I'm like a foot taller than you. Don't you dare call me a Smurf.
I'm in bed.
I can't either.
Because it's just repeat all over.
I was actually just telling Peyton the other day, I was like, I'm coaching their teams, right? Like that's a no-brainer. And he's like, good, because I'm not going to. And I didn't think he may want to when he gets older, and I hope that he does. But can you imagine like him and I doing that at the same time? By the way, we recorded that podcast yesterday, and it was everything that I expected it to be. Peyton was defiant and absolutely hilarious.
We have a member or a subscriber, Amy. She's like, John, I don't know if I could do this show, come into this show, because it may be too triggering. And she actually made a comment. I can't listen to this because I have to do the same thing. And you know, I don't want people to think that we don't think that there's not millions of women out there that do the same thing that Sherry is doing.
Right.
We just are in a position to where I wanted to bring attention to this because it's a crime.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
This is a crime. This is true crime.
I hope so.
What is happening to this family, and we're going to cover it. So people, send me the information. We're going to put the pressure on fathers or mothers. We're going to hit them with numbers. We're going to put phone numbers and case numbers.
This is a very important comment right here. My dad was a drunk that abused and cheated and abused my brother and I, but those 2 or 3 times he did something nice makes me miss him. It's messed up to miss the man that beat you. It's not messed up. It's human nature. And I get exactly what you mean by that. I'm sorry that's a terrible thing.
Out there, and we're going to start calling, you know, municipalities, courthouses, whatever we got to do to get the ball rolling on some of these cases that have just been sitting in limbo because Sherry doesn't have time to pick up the phone and fight for what's rightfully hers and the kids, and to make sure that these people do their jobs. Because let's just face it, people, they're lazy. Sherry has provided the state of New Jersey and Sussex County with the information saying that T-Rev she's given them their social.
I mean, my dad was too. He was an alcoholic.
security number. She's giving them an address. She's giving them everything that
You did drugs too. It was mean.
she had. And the fact that this man is collecting a check from the government, which they could deduct from and start paying her whatever. Anything is better than nothing, isn't it, Sherry?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
And you know what, John? It's not even about me. It's about his 2 children. That's what
You're
it's
absolutely right. That is exactly what it's about. It's not about Sherry. Sherry's doing fine. She's working every day, and you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go to work too, don't you?
Yes, I do.
And you work double shifts to make it. How often do you work doubles?
As much as I can. But then too, I also I just started with DoorDash, so I'm also door dashing.
She
So
probably actually knows how to.
just to
So
break.
I would be more mad at my mom for not protecting us, which I know is wrong. I don't know if that's wrong, but who knows? I mean, who knows what she was going through, you know, too. I mean, sometimes I get it. I'm telling you, but dude, fathers can just absolutely gut a family's just existence. Everybody walking on eggshells because, you know, dad's pissed off because he doesn't make enough money, or, you know, he didn't get the promotion that he felt he deserved. So I'm going to take it out on my kids or my wife. And everybody's uptight. Everybody's, you know, they don't want to piss dad off because he might just fly off the handle.
You're working 2 jobs and working doubles and you're door dashing.
Yes, and I just applied. Granted, it's not the greatest job in the world, but it's Walmart, and that's for an overnight shift.
Nothing wrong with
God
that
bless
either.
you. And thank you. And the kids, I'm sure, thank you for being a stand-up person. And these kids, I've talked to them, guys. I've talked to them the last time just in chat, and they were very articulate. And, you know, just talking to them tonight, getting to know them a little bit more. Wonderful kids. So we're going to play, and I want all of you to listen to what this man says. And it's typical. This is typical for a man who does not want to pay support to his children because he's a loser. So what does he do?
So I was blessed to have an excellent dad. I miss him so much. I was blessed to have an excellent mother who loved me, a grandmother, and a grandfather, and a sister. But you know, obviously, but my sister and my grandmother, you know, the 2 people in my life that are that mean more to me than anything, women especially, because they've been there with me my whole life. And somebody on Twitter the other day was like, kind of, they were razzing me about living with my grandmother. They were saying that, oh, he lives with his grandma. He lives with it. Yeah, no shit. I take care of her. Without me, she goes to she'd have to go somewhere. I mean, just like I would have when I was a kid. I think it's really odd to me. I do it because I love my grandma, not out of necessity.
He attacks the woman that gave birth to his children and tries to discredit her.
She's 81 years old.
Tries to defame her and creates a subliminal in his own mind that she's a horrible person because that's what he's telling himself. And then he shares that with everybody. And not only does he denounce her, but he denounces his own children. And you'll hear it here. So let's go. There it is again, everyone. A 10-year-old wrote this. Now we're going to go over to, we went over this letter before, but Lana wrote this letter when she was 10. It says, "Dear so-called father, it's sad seeing you post this when we were younger, but as we grew up, you were never there for us. You never called about me and Austin. That's how bad of a father figure you were to us, but it's okay because me and Austin realized we never needed you in our lives. You never asked how me and Austin were doing, and you never checked up on us or called me or you to say that you'll be a great dad. That's a lie, as well as the video you made. The only one who has been there for us is my mom. So whatever lies you want to tell people that we aren't your children or whatever, or that my mom has kept us from you, which is all a bunch of BS, you should let them know that our mom has only been there for us our whole life, and you never cared to ask my mom to talk to us. The last time we talked was in 2017, which was my birthday. And after that, we never saw you again or heard from you. We ended up homeless, and mom asked you to help us, and she could get back on her feet and get things together. And you read her message and then blocked her.
Wow.
I hope every one of your friends see this and see how bad of a father you are, Austin Trevor Sweet." A 10-year-old little girl wrote that, y'all. That was sent to me shortly after Austin started spewing the lies that he was spewing about me. The vicious, absolute vicious lies, like I was never a detective. I was a fake cop. I stole my badges that I showed him. Oh yeah, y'all, it was pretty unbelievable. I was a convicted felon. I could never carry a gun, which I carry every day, which I just showed the other night. Yeah, pretty vicious things, all because I wanted to start my own show, and he was worried about time slots. Horrible person. I digress. But Lana's written another letter to her father, and she's going to read it tonight. Stay tuned. And again, I want to say, if you guys can, whatever Cash App you use, the three that are scrolling down here in the bottom are all available for Sherry and the kids. This has nothing to do with me. I don't get a dime for this. I don't have anything to do. This is going directly to them. Please help them. Let's send a message to Austin Trevor Sweet. Let's show them how good we are. You remember when I said earlier I like to right wrongs?
Are you really not a mod?
Shame. Shame comes to mind. There it is again.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Sorry about that.
Shame comes to mind. Absolute shame. Because I'll tell you what, I would damn sure be ashamed if I had to hear my 10-year-old daughter
I modded her.
Have a letter be read by some guy on YouTube.
Sorry about that.
Because I can't reach out to my own daughter and have dialogue with her. Shame comes to mind. Oh, it gets better, y'all. That's me. You know, the children that he's never mentioned, except in a rap song that he calls their mother a prostitute. Never mentioned her.
I thought I did too.
Never mentioned the kids until he knew I was going to call him out because I confronted him about it. Never mentioned his kids. But as soon as I threatened to call him out on it, guess what? He does this backstroking preemptive strike. And you'll hear it. It's pretty obvious because that's what he does. You know, the children that he's never mentioned, except in a rap song, they calls their mother a prostitute. Yep, we won't play that song because I don't want to give him any clicks for the song.
Wow.
But he refers to the mother of his children as a prostitute. Now, Sherry, I'm sorry. I was a cop for a long time, and I worked street crimes. I worked with prostitutes, hookers, whatever you want to call them, all the time. You've cleaned up pretty good.
Thank you, Mary.
You quit smoking crack and meth and pulled the needles out of your arm, I guess, and managed to raise 2 kids. I mean, were you making good money when you were doing that? I mean, come on.
Well, if I was making good money, I wouldn't have been on Section 8.
Which he denounces you for, by the way. You'll hear him. You will hear this man denounce her for being on Section 8. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Work with me.
He filled out the paperwork with you?
Yeah.
He probably helped you get it because he wasn't working, right?
No, actually, at that point, he was working.
Was he? Okay.
Was working, but it didn't last long, like any other job.
So how long would he stay? How long would he stay with a job when he typically took a job?
A month, 2 months, if that.
Not long enough to even get benefits for the kids, I take it.
Not. My kids have always been health insurance through the state.
Gotcha.
So
sometimes that happens. I know when I went from job to job, they wanted, what was it called, Cobra after that. Cobra was like 4 times as much money. I told my ex, I'm like, look, I can't do Cobra. Let's until I start this new job and I get benefits, we're gonna have to, do whatever. So she did, and we did. And now it's not like that, but yeah.
Was that one of the songs that he played? Oh my God.
Sometimes you have to do that, but shouldn't be denounced for it.
Right. Well, as far as the state of Jersey goes, not only is their father supposed to be paying child support, he's supposed to be providing them insurance as well.
And incidentals. If I know it, I mean, it's written right. I mean, like my daughter, she just needed a new computer. I just bought her a new computer. My daughter's almost 20 years old. I don't even have to pay child support anymore. And I do.
Right.
So it gets better, y'all. Listen to this.
And when he says better, it probably gets worse.
Listen to what this man says about the mother of his children. And his children heard this.
I noticed that the son was holding on to his mother. I did notice that.
Like, for instance, on his post, he was like, yeah, sperm donor. Talking about when I speak about the 2 possible kids that I have that.
Stop. 2 possible kids. When I speak about, which he's never done until that day. Listen to what this man says about the mother of his children. So I'm playing this again because I want you to hear it. Sperm donor is what I referred to him as because that's all he is. He's not a father. He's a sperm donor. And he's addressing what I said. And he said, supposedly his kids. Now, Sherry, does he have any reason whatsoever to think that those kids aren't his?
Most definitely not.
Now, you'll hear him say here in a minute that you actually told him that they may not be his kids. Did you ever tell him that they may not be his kids?
Not once.
Where would he get that from?
That I have no idea. Honestly,
I can tell you where he gets it from. He gets it from the state because he thinks that if he says that, he has some sort of standing with people to say, hey, I'm not a deadbeat. I'm just waiting to see if they're really my kids, which is ridiculous, but that's the point of it. That's why he's doing it. So he can go around telling people, well, they're not, I'm not even sure they're my kids. You know, I'm not going to end up having to pay all that child support or whatever it is.
I really don't. But my last conversation with him was back in 2019, where he read my message and then he blocked me, basically asking him to take his children, because every year was, oh, I'm going to take my kids for the summer. I'm going to take my kids here. I'm going to take them there. I'm going to get them this and send it. I'm going to, you know, never about money, which granted, it's not all about money, but when you're saying you're going to send stuff for your kids, never shows up.
I mean, how disappointing was that for the kids?
Oh, they were hurt. I mean,
it was 2017, not 19, right? Because Lana's letter said 17.
Yeah, that was it was 2017 that they last spoke to him.
That's what I mean.
Right.
But I had messaged.
Well, I mean, I would assume he's on the birth certificate. I would assume that he signed the birth certificate.
Him on Facebook, like, you know, about getting divorced, because he told me he was filing, he wants a divorce, and I want a divorce too, so file for divorce. You know, I'm not filing that. You got to pay for that. I'm raising your kids. I don't got that extra income to pay for the divorce. You want a divorce? Go get a divorce.
But here's the problem he has, right? So if he filed for divorce, what does he have to provide the court with? An address, right?
Yeah. I don't.
He has to be served, right? And what does he have against him? He's already got in 2016. He has an order for back child support already granted to you for almost $13,000. Then, correct?
Yes.
So that's why he hasn't done it, in my opinion.
All right.
He doesn't want to give up that address because he doesn't want to be served and potentially hooked up when they serve him. So he doesn't want that divorce. He wants the divorce. I believe he wants the divorce because his girl.
So Detective John had a stroke. That's crazy. That's terrible.
Wants him to get a divorce, but she's putting that on you. She's saying that's your fault.
Yeah, well, she said in the last show I should pay for that. No, I should not pay for that. I'm raising his kids. Children. I have, things I have to do: a house, bills, car payment, phone, all that.
Everybody, go to my first show and watch it. This girl actually comes into the first and the second show, his girlfriend, and demands that Sherry pay for the divorce. I kid you not. That's how immature this kid is, because she's a kid. She talks like she's straight out of, gangster. I don't know where he got this girl, but she has the class of that stuff that sticks to the bottom of your shoe when you're walking through the yard. I'll tell you that much right now. Foul mouth. I wouldn't want my kids around her anyway.
And then he ended up abusing her too, and smearing her name too, trashing her house too.
She actually said in chat,
she's another one of his victims, to be honest with you.
To Sherry, they're having dialogue back and forth that Sherry, quote unquote, if you want the divorce, you pay for it. I can't make this up, people. Oh, it gets better. But here we go. Let's listen to this. I want you to listen to this, everyone.
That 5 years of their life, I thought I was 100% their dad, and then their mom told me that I possibly wasn't. And
But here we go. Let's listen to this.
Let's
I
go
want
again.
you to listen to this, everyone.
that 5 years of their life, I thought I was 100% their dad.
Is that
and
brought
their
up
mom
here,
told me
Sam?
that I possibly wasn't. And
But here we go.
Yeah,
Sherry, how bad
I
does
think
that?
he means it gets
How
worse.
bad does that make you feel?
Pisses me off, honestly, because I
would be pretty pissed.
I never once told him he was not their father. We got married after both kids were born. He signed their birth certificates because they look identical to him.
Oh, look.
There's how
Did.
to deny them is beyond me.
Especially Austin.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks just like him.
I mean, so does Alana.
Yeah, Alana looks a lot like him too. The eyes for sure.
Yep.
You know, it's a shame he's missing out, but that's his choice. And you know what? These kids are really strong, and you're going to see that, everyone. You're going to see how strong these kids are, and it's because of their mother. And you heard a 10-year-old's letter who has witnessed the absolute hell that their mother has been through. Homeless, on the verge of losing their house, begging their father for help. Not only does he not help them, but he slams the door in their face and blocks them all. Am I right there, Sherry? Is that what happened?
He basically read my message and blocked me on Facebook, and then he blocked me on Instagram. His two kids, they have their own Facebooks. He's never reached out to them.
Try it over here real quick.
I mean, it's not that hard to look up a name on Facebook and see who it is, you know?
I mean, it's not like he wouldn't know what their last names were.
Exactly. I mean, that would be pretty bad.
Yeah. But you know what, y'all? Just when you thought it got really bad, listen to this. It gets better.
It really does.
I do owe child support, and I'm on disability. And I told him I'm not paying until I find out if those kids are 100% mine. I do owe child support.
He's not going to pay
And
anything.
I'm on disability. And I told him I'm not paying until I find out if those kids are 100% mine.
I do owe child support, and I am on disability. And I told him I'm not paying a dime until I find out whether those children are mine. Again, Sherry, is there any reason that man would believe that those two children are not his biological children?
Not at all.
And if I mean, this was just a few months ago, and it was almost 50 grand, just a few hundred shy of 50 grand, if I remember right. And he's making these comments now. And think about this, everyone. Think about how stupid that comment is. If I have two teenage kids and the back support is just adding up and adding up and adding up and adding up, I don't have a driver's license. I can't leave my house because I'm afraid that I'm going to get hooked up any day now. The impending doom is there. But you know what I have the opportunity to do is get a DNA test and say, yep, those aren't my kids. I'll go on with my life.
Absolutely filthy.
$51,000. I ain't worried about that anymore. I just proved that those aren't my kids. Now, wouldn't any prudent person believe that's what should be done?
He probably made like a one child support
Not
payment.
T-Rev. He says it. He raps about it. Pretty disgusting. You think that was bad? Listen to this. Same thing, but said it a little bit differently.
Hide those kids away from me, and you think I'm gonna put money in your pocket for you to go out and spend it on drugs? Hide those kids away from me, and you think I'm gonna put money in your pocket for you to go out and spend it on drugs?
Now, Sherry, you want to address that?
I have never touched a drug in my life. Yeah, maybe pot when I was a teenager, but that was like so long ago.
Pot
He,
is
he makes it sound like you're a crack addict or a meth addict or on heroin or something, that you're going to take any monies that he gives you and you're going to spend it on dope.
No, I have never touched a drug in my life.
She looks pretty healthy to me.
That's what he says. I mean, hey, y'all, do we believe T-Rev or do we believe this mom that's got no reason to sit here and lie? Who do we believe, y'all? Who's running from the state of New Jersey right now? He'll say, how does he know I'm running? Well, I'm using my common sense.
Oh, it's kind of it's a common technique that people do. They say, well, you know, the other person's on drugs, and which is a really shitty thing to do, because you end up having to, like, you have to end up proving it for some reason, when the only person that's alleging it is him, and you have to go through all that bull crap.
So you just heard it. Sherry said, I've never done a drug except for, and who cares, smoking a little weed when I was a teenager. But this is what he does: deflect, 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 deflect.
Hey, John, can I 1 second?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Regarding the whole drug thing, maybe he should tell you the fact how he has called CPS on me for his own children, telling that I was on drugs.
That's a great point.
And I was a
And why would he do that, Sherry?
I think that it did. I think that it did do something, but I get what you're saying.
I wish, because I threw him out of my house. And the fact
To hurt you.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
But it's not me who he hurt. It's his own children who he hurt.
So, yeah.
And how old were the kids then?
Austin was.
But his numbers are not indicative of that subscriber count.
8?
Yeah, like 8 or 9.
He was 8 or 9, and how old was Alana?
Alana would have been like 7.
Yeah, Alana was like 6 or 7.
So we've got over 200 people in here, not including the mods and other people.
Sam, did they go into the faking of cancer in this video?
That are not subs.
But
and
I also just make one more.
Go ahead. You go ahead. This is your floor.
So CPS was involved, and every time they got involved, I had to be drug tested. And every single drug test I passed, because I've never touched a drug. But now, don't you think if I was such a drug addict, I wouldn't have my children with me?
Oh yeah, and I think that when CPS, it's called DCF here, when they do those tests, they're pretty immediate, because if somebody called right now and said that you were abusing your kids or you were a drug addict, they have to follow up with it. They have to do it.
Yeah.
So that's not something, you don't have a choice. You either submit right now or we're going to take your kids.
Yep.
So me knowing what I know, I mean, they test for opiates, they test for cocaine, they test for various drugs. So had you been doing anything in the past at least 60 days?
I think so, but I don't know. I think
30 days on some drugs, it would have come up. You would have lost your kids. So what was the end result?
Oh, they closed the case because there was no evidence.
So they closed the case with prejudice, basically, because they're like, this was basically somebody trying to hurt this mother and her children.
Yep.
Making up lies. Because that's what they do. They close it with prejudice a lot of times on stuff like that, because when they actually see what's really taking place, they do. Pretty unbelievable, y'all, but it gets better.
He means that sarcastically.
This is the mother.
Boyfriends because you live on Section 8.
Next. This is the. All right. Now here we go. He's attacking Sherry and the kids, mostly Sherry, because I called him out and he has to address this. So he wants to paint the picture that Sherry is just POS crap.
This was December 2023, right before Christmas.
Crack addict, meth addict, horrible mother, slut, all these horrible things. And that he's not paying her because she's all these things. And he knows that if he gives her the money, that's where it's going to go. That's what he's telling. He's defamed.
Yeah, it doesn't get better, Pam.
The mother of his children. Typical. Because he's got 50,000 subscribers. Well, he didn't then. He does now. That he's got to convince. He's got to manipulate. He's got to lead everyone to believe that he's the victim here. T-Rev's the victim. That's what he wants y'all to believe. Pathetic. I'm going to let you hear this again. Mother.
Boyfriends because you live on Section 8.
Next.
That's what I think
this
so
is the
too.
mother.
Boyfriends because you live on Section 8.
Next. This is what did he say? You have multiple boyfriends and you live on Section 8. Is that what he said? Something to that effect. But anyway, he's denouncing her because she's had to resort to living on Section 8 because that's what she has to do to keep a roof over her kids' heads. And he had the audacity to talk down to her and about her to his 50,000 subs so they could all hear it. Sherry can't defend herself. That's why she's here. That's why I have her on this show with her children. So she can defend herself against this tyrant.
There you go. There you go. Saying all this stuff. And he's giving them a platform. Good for him.
This lying piece of garbage, in my opinion. And I think by the end of the show, if you don't feel that same way, then there's something wrong with you. You have no moral compass. Oh, it gets better.
Sarcastic.
Listen up.
A real reality where I'm not scared to talk about one aspect of my life.
Listen up.
A real reality where I'm not scared to talk about one aspect of my life.
Yeah. The man who's been on YouTube for I don't know how many years has never spoke of his children that I know of until I call him out and he has to
respond.
Play the game. He has to send the subliminals out there that he's the victim here. He's not going to pay child support to these kids because they're not his. I could go on and on and on. If you guys really want to know more, go to my first show where it says Righting Wrongs in the second show and watch it.
I have to check that out. I haven't seen those.
You'll see the dialogue when the kids come in there unannounced. I didn't ask them to come on. Their mother was on. Tell us about that, Sherry, how they actually came to come onto the show. You were laying in bed watching the show and talking to me, and what happened?
My kids ended up coming in because they heard me just, talking, and they're like, "What are you watching?" And I explained to them what I was watching, and they were like,
he's still. I think he's still allowed on YouTube. Doug is not.
oh, they're like, it's
I don't know how.
regarding our dad. I said, yeah. So they said, all right, well, is it okay if we go on to the chat? And I said, of course, you know. And basically that's how they learned of the first show.
Awesome. And it was awesome.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to maximize this screen so you guys will be blown up. And I want you guys, you're going to have the floor. So if you want to keep going, Sherry, you can. If one of the kids want to come in, feel free.
Yeah.
It's you guys. Who wants to start?
Austin's going to.
Yeah, Lana's doing something, so I feel like pretty upset about him just not being there for us and stuff. So I wish he could look at me again and say I love you, but that's not gonna happen anytime soon. I believe that any person could be nice, but not him. He's just been gone for so long while we've been trying to get him to see us again, and he just kept denying my mom and saying that we're not his kids and stuff. So it just makes me feel horrible.
Well, you know what, Austin?
Yeah.
Don't feel horrible. Don't feel horrible, because I tell you what, there's a thing called karma. Do you know what karma is?
Yeah.
Okay, what's karma mean to you?
I think it means when someone when someone tries to hurt someone in a way, it'll go back to them.
100% correct. And he's getting his karma right about now.
Yeah.
And maybe one day, and maybe after this show, he might reach out and want to have a relationship with you and your sister.
See, that's what I was referring to earlier, is that it is this young man knows that his dad has done these things, but you can still hear it in his voice that he still loves him. He still wants to be a part of his life. And I mean, for that, you would think, man, there's still time. There's not much, but there's still some time. You get it together.
I hope so. It's a tiny bit, a little, tiny bit somewhere. I kind of miss him, but most of all, I just kind of don't.
Well, you know what? And that's normal. It's normal to have that resentment because you've seen what he's done to you and your sister and your mother.
Yeah.
But he's also your father.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it, because I felt the same way about my dad, who didn't have anything, never sent me a card, nothing.
Oh. This starts to make a little more sense. I didn't know that.
My entire life. I heard when he died, and he was in North Carolina, and I went there. This is a man that's never done anything for me. But I went there. So I spread his ashes on a beach.
Mm-hmm.
But I get it. And you're right. You're right to reserve that.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you that Detective John staring into the past.
Feeling in your heart.
Because I guarantee you that Detective John is still hurt from that. Even with all of his success and accomplishments, I guarantee it still hurts.
Keep that door open for him one day. And I support that 100%.
I do too. I really, really do.
I'm sure your mother does. And everyone here does. And it's not about the money, because you know what? And you know what the sad thing is here, and you may not know this. Just because he doesn't give your mom child support does not mean he can't see you. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You knew that, right? So no matter what, if he is not financially able to support, which he is, but if he's denying support, the court will still not keep him away from you. That's not what they do.
Not like my mom like pays like the stuff for me. Like I don't really care about the money right now. Like I wish he can just like come up to us and says like he misses us and like he loves us and like wants something to do with us, and, like wants to come over and like talk to us and stuff.
And I'm sure he does. He does. But remember when I said earlier, I talked about impending doom?
Yeah.
Because to him, what means more to him? The money or you guys? And to me, as selfish as I believe he is, I believe he's worried about the money and the fact that he has to pay your mother. Inevitably, he's going to have to pay. Even when you guys are grown up and out of the house, he still owes her this money.
Yeah, I mean, it never goes away.
It's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. So no matter what he does, no matter how successful he ever were to become, he will always, if he were to try to buy a house, he wouldn't.
This is him. I think this was in his heyday, though.
Be able to buy that house until he paid your mother the money that he owed. Did you know that?
No.
He will never be. He'll never be able to buy a house or anything beyond anything because he has judgment for over.
Martian Planet Art, you made 2 major mistakes, but I love you.
$50,000 against him. So if he came into a lump sum of money and he was going to go buy a house, they'd say, well, you can't buy this house until you pay her.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah.
It's impending doom, buddy. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead. You keep talking. This is your time.
I don't know if I want to say anything else.
Well, I'll tell you what. Took a lot of guts for you to get up here because you know what? I know your father's watching.
Yeah.
I know he's watching. And that's why we did this. Because hopefully we can get through to him. And T-Rev, you just heard from your own son. He forgives you.
And if he does say that, if he does like see this, like it's never too late to like just come back, say hi, and like I miss you and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You're welcome, T-Rev. You're welcome. Because I know you haven't heard a word from your children, but you just heard your son, and it happened right here on this platform, on this show. You're welcome, T-Rev.
And John, can I just clarify something?
Sure.
I have never kept his children away from him.
You said that before, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's his own decision of what he's doing. And like I told you, I've asked him for help to take his kids. And that's when I got blocked.
Yeah, and I was there when she texted him too, so he like saw the message and he just blocked her like right there.
How'd that make you feel, Austin?
It made me feel like pretty upset. Like I knew like from there like he probably wouldn't have like seen us for like at least a few years, and he still hasn't even like come out to like talk to us yet.
It's been like 7 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was thinking it's been almost a decade, but that's just 7 years since he's talked to you. But you guys have been apart for over a decade.
Wait, he hadn't talked to him for 7 years?
Decade, correct? Yes.
Yes.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
So if you were to tell this story and you had your end result of what you learned when you grow up and you meet someone and you have a family, what are you not going to do?
Leave.
I'm not going to leave like him. I'm not going to like complain all the time. Like I'll understand what like my
You're not gonna deny your kid.
yeah I'm not
Responsibility.
I'm not gonna deny responsibility or like leave or anything. I'm like gonna stay and like try my hardest because I'm just like nice and stuff. So,
What am I supposed to?
yeah.
Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
I can't breathe.
That's awesome, Austin.
Yeah.
Sherry, that's awesome. You have an awesome young man there.
Yeah.
And you just keep those thoughts with you forever.
Yeah.
Because whatever doesn't destroy us will make us stronger.
Yeah.
God doesn't put things on our plate that we can't handle, son.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's amazing what we can do as people.
Yes.
And I'm very, 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 very blessed to have had you on this show tonight. And
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very proud. And I don't even hardly know you. I'm just proud that you exist, kid.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm very proud that you exist. It gives me comfort to know. Because, sometimes today, you just don't know what young people think. It's really hard. But thank you for reassuring that there are good kids out there that have great morals and have aspirations to be fathers one day and do the right thing.
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Like I want to like try to like be like successful and try to like be able to like live somewhere, like pay like a house fully and stuff, so I can like just like do things.
What you want to do when you get older as a living, like what you're
As
doing.
a career, what do you want to do? Do you know yet? There's plenty of time to come up with that, but I was just curious if you know.
Yeah.
My son wants to be a biologist, a marine biologist.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. Like I'm still thinking.
Well, you got plenty of time. Don't rush it.
Yeah.
Just find something that you're interested in to start with, and then
Yeah.
you know what you have that I didn't have and your mom didn't have. You have this information highway called the internet.
Yeah.
And my son is so smart, blows me away. I'm full of useless information. I think he's full of even more useless information that he got off the internet.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for what you said, because I tell you, it was awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
It was
yeah.
awesome.
Also,
all right, you want to turn it over to your sister now?
Yeah.
No, I'm scared.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Austin? I'm sorry I cut you off.
Oh yeah, I said thank you for having me on.
No, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. And you know what? I'm proud to have had you, and I'm honored. Honored.
Yeah.
And that comes straight from the heart, kid.
All right. Yeah.
Keep the good work up.
All right.
All right.
I think he's exiting now and he's turning it over to his sister.
Yeah. Go back to the video games. Oh, hold on. Hey, let me get your information so Tanner and you can hook up.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Sherry, send his screen name or whatever they go by, and I'll have Tanner reach out to him. Okay.
Okay.
Does that sound cool, Austin?
Yeah.
You guys can be gamers together. Thank you, buddy.
What a nice guy. I like this guy. Just listening to him. I think he's genuine as hell. I mean, I really get that feeling from him.
All right, yeah.
I also think that this is a little bit of something that hits home. I think that he kind of sort of sees a little bit of himself in these kids.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Lana, what are you going to do? Are you going to read your newest
He's a good,
letter?
Seems like a really good guy.
I'm kind of scared too.
All right.
Probably.
Do you want to talk first, or you just want to read that? It's up to you.
I'll read it first and then I'll talk.
Listen from YouTube.
All right, everybody, listen up. This is Lana. She's 13.
Yeah, this is not something that he makes a habit out of doing. Like, this isn't like an everyday thing, you know, where he's like, I'm going to expose this person or expose that. No, this is very personal. But this isn't something that, you know, he does. Yeah, this isn't his like life's goal. He's just, you know, he's just a genuine dude, it seems like, and he feels bad for these kids.
Years old.
And I do too. Lisa says, Josh, I'm glad you aired this. Austin is a good kid. As is his sis, I hope he stays safe and his dad grows up. Yeah, I hope so too. They seem like really wonderful kids.
And she wrote a letter when she was 10 to her father and got no response.
And then this is the letter I wrote in August of this year. And this one says, Dear my dad, I was wondering if you are ever going to man up to be a good father, but I doubt that. I'm 13 and it's been about 6 to 7 years since I've last heard from you. I'm your only daughter and you're also the dad of my brother. I thought you were going to be here for us like you said you were, but turns out it was all lies.
Holy shit.
You have many people talking down on my mom, knowing my mom has been here for us more than you ever have. I'm ashamed of the person you have became. You never wished me a happy birthday or even called to make sure I'm okay. I am your child, and it's not my job to uphold a relationship with my father. It is your responsibility to reach out to me regarding the fact that I'm your daughter. No one has ever stopped you from seeing me or my brother. I see other people having a good time with their father, and there I am wondering why you're not in my life anymore. I feel abandonment from you. As a person, I hate you. You should know and feel guilty, oh my God, for how you treat.
She's breaking my heart. She's breaking my heart.
Treat your kids. Both me and my brother are done trying to get you to man up as a father. We wish you would do better. And that's it.
So what prompted you to write that again after you wrote that? So that's 3 years after your initial letter. What prompted you to write that?
I don't know. I feel like that he should be a better person and he should actually like be there for his kids because I don't know how to say this.
Because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I'm loving Detective John. I really am. I think he's awesome.
Forgot what I was gonna say.
I went into this a little skeptical. And I mean, this whole journey has just made from the time that we've started this, it's all making sense.
I'm not a mind reader.
Well, you should try and read my mind right now.
I can't.
Do you feel like there's a void in your life?
I don't know. But I feel like, okay, so the last time I saw him was, okay, so he was there on my birthday in 2017. And then it was like a month later that he left. And then I never saw him again after that.
That's right.
So no contact at all.
No.
Now let me ask you, I mean, it's okay if you don't want to answer, but have you tried to actually look him up out of curiosity? Because you know he's got videos and stuff out there. You know he has a show. You know all this stuff. Have you gotten on out of curiosity? Because I know I would.
Yeah, I've looked him up a few times to see what he has been doing, but like it's like all the same YouTube videos that he's making of him singing and rapping to music.
What do you think about what he says in his music?
I don't think it's good at all.
It's pretty disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, when he makes up a song for his channel, it's all uplifting and positive, right? But the dark stuff that he's got out there is pretty anti-woman, and basic thug stuff, in my opinion. That's just me. You know, I love rap, but not that kind of rap.
Yeah, and he
has
time to make YouTube videos, but he doesn't have time to talk to us, which I think is funny.
Wow.
He has time to make. Do you know it costs money to run a channel, right?
Yeah.
This isn't free. This costs a lot of money.
True.
Yeah.
So what about your grandfather? Do you have any memories of him?
No. I don't even remember him.
She was
I think he's fantastic.
I know Austin saw him when he was 8.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him.
You didn't see him because you didn't come with me to Virginia to go.
Kind
pick
of
up your
bummed
dad.
he's not on YouTube anymore. I'm kind of bummed I missed the Detective John wave. Come back. I'm gonna find him.
The last time Alana wasn't even 2.
And you know what I'm gonna say? And listening to, I mean, he came on to the show. And everyone go to the
I
first
hope so.
show and watch it. And the second show, I can't remember if it was first or.
I might reach out to him. Maybe he needs a little encouragement. I hope he does. I know people were telling me that his son passed away, which is obviously just a terrible thing. But sure,
Second one that
Absolutely,
he came on and basically blasted you, for lack of a better word. But I sensed a lot of pain there.
I'd love to have him.
I sensed that he didn't want this for his grandkids. I sensed that he says it. I've tried to tell Austin to do the right thing multiple times.
I'm good,
but I
reach out to
can't
him.
make him do anything. He's Austin. So I think if anyone perhaps deserved some time with you guys, it would be him. Because I think that what's he going to do? What can he do? Now, I do believe that if he reached out to Sherry, I don't think Sherry, would you shut him down?
No, and that's another thing too, John. Like he said in his comments, the only way he had contact with me was through Austin, T-Rev, whatever he goes by, which is a bunch of bull because all he has to do is look me up on Facebook, and he knew he could find me on there. You know, and he never reached out either.
Well, maybe if Mr. Sweet, I understand he's been a hardworking man his whole life. He's worked on the docks. Is that correct? I think he worked at the docks or something.
I really don't know much about his family.
Unlike his son, he's worked hard his whole life. So I would suspect that maybe, maybe some peace should try to be made, and maybe they should have a relationship with their grandfather. And I know the grandmother just passed. Oh, wait, or that's Austin's grandmother.
Yeah, that would be their great
grandmother. So, but grandparents, I'm a grandparent, and it's really hard because my son and his girlfriend are split up, and it makes it really difficult. And I'm on her side 100% because he was wrong. But it still makes it hard. But Lana, what else do you want to say, honey? That was beautiful, by the way.
I don't know.
Do you talk to people about this? besides your mom?
Just my mom.
So you guys are tight. And you know what? That's awesome. You should be able to talk to your mom about anything. And she seems like she's pretty grounded. She's a pretty cool mom.
When she wants to be.
Well, you know what? You're fortunate because she's young and she can relate. You know, she can relate to you in so many ways. And I think that's a special bond that you guys have. And you should always be there for your mom because she's always been there for you. And you heard the story that she told about your grandma. You just never know. I'm struggling with my mom right now with depression and some, I believe, beginning stages of Alzheimer's. I took my son there the other day to bring a puppy to her, and she was laying on the floor with a grandfather clock on top of her. So I'm trying, but you just never know. So always keep that bond with your mom. She's all you got, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to say anything else?
I don't really know what to say.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And this isn't, and I want you both to know, this isn't me bashing someone's father. This is me trying to get a father to step up. Because you know what? He's got no excuse because I know what he does. I know he has the money. And he needs to step up and help your mom and you and your brother, okay? But if he doesn't want to step up, then the state of New Jersey will make him step up. And whether or not he decides he wants to have a relationship with his children or not, that doesn't matter if he doesn't, because he should pay. Period. But always keep the door open because he could have an epiphany tonight and reach out to you and say, you know what, I love you and I'm sorry. And that's all I could ask for.
All right, you guys. This is 3 hours. I want to listen to. I don't know how much more of this is left, but I would like to listen to his first video too, and so maybe we can go over that. Listen to it tomorrow, on the second half of the show. I'm gonna head out. It is 1:45 here on the West Coast. Let me see. 1:45. Yep. We are just a little over 3 hours. Appreciate you guys being here. I'll catch you tomorrow. Shit. Hey, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I could help there. Appreciate you guys.
I forgot to set our fucking goal for our 50 goal or whatever, but it starts out at $1. Okay, just like it did last time. So if we did 50 of them for $1, that's $50. So fuck you, Josh.
Well, you opened that Pandora's door.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lab After Dark is starting soon.
You're morbidly obese.
See you tomorrow. Thank you. Yeah, I am. Seems like a great guy. Me too. Thank you, Callie. Castle. Muscles. Always good to see you. Emmy. Good to see you.
Andrew the Giant. Andrew the Giant. You are morbidly obese.
What's the point in causing any ruffles to be better?
Right. Right. The lab is my boss.
Rhinoceros. Suck a muffin.
Andrew the Giant. You are morbidly obese. Well, you opened that Pandora's door.
I was actually just sitting down to pee, but whatever, you know.
What's the point in causing any ruffles to be feathered?
Rhinoceros.
That will be on the next file. And Pete King said, what's that? Well, that's actually a statement of fact. You are morbidly obese. I don't know if understands this is America. People could say what they want in America. If he has a problem with freedom of speech, you can go back to China. Right. The lab is my boss.
I was actually just sitting down to pee, but whatever, you know.
You are morbidly obese.
I forgot to set our fucking goal for our 50 goal or whatever, but it starts out at $1, okay? Just like it did last time. So if we did 50 of them for $1, that's $50.
The lab is my boss.
Josh.
The lab is my boss. The lab is my boss. Andrew the Giant. Andrew the Giant.
I was actually just sitting down to pee, but whatever.
Well, you opened that Pandora's door.
Right. What's the point in causing any ruffles to be feathered?
Andrew the Giant. You are morbidly obese.
What's the point in causing any ruffles to be feathered?
Lab After Dark starts now.
Andrew the Giant. You are morbidly obese. Andrew the Giant.
I forgot to set our fucking goal for our 50 goal or whatever, but it starts out at $1, okay? Just like it did last time. So if we did 50 of them for $1, that's $50. So, fuck you, Josh.
Suck a mucker.